And as always, it's a pleasure to have you. Get interactive with us. Join us with your comments, with everything you want to say on the topics we are treating this afternoon on the post. It is via our social media handles, YouTube, myjoyonline.com, Facebook, and of course, X or Twitter. Now, Minister for Employment and Labor Relations, as well as Pensions, Ignatius Bafowa, has told Parliament the National Pension Regulatory Authority has cleared SSNIT to proceed with its controversial plan to sell 4 hotels to Brian Champon's Rock City Hotel. The National Pension Regulatory Authority had asked SSNIT to put on hold the transaction after significant public opposition. By responding to questions in Parliament, the minister explained why exactly the sale is being undertaken by SSNIT. And of course, they have the latest on this development, and Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Koko Asante joins me via Zoom. So, Koko, why? I mean, why the sudden change of heart by the NPRA?
Well, according to the minister, the NPRA has been demanding some documents from SSNIT. It appears SSNIT has satisfied NPRA that this decision is in the best interest of the state. This is a question that stood in the name of Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, MP for North Tong, who himself has not been in Parliament today. The question asked on his behalf. The minister first started by laying out the policy rationale for why government is going ahead to sell these SSNIT hotels. They talk about how some of these hotels have been making losses, how some of these hotels are not in the best interest of SSNIT in terms of investment decision-wise, and that is why SSNIT decided to offload them. And then the question then about NPRA's decision, asking SSNIT to put on hold this transaction. And then the minister now explaining that, in fact, over the last few days, NPRA has actually been dialoguing with both him as minister as well as SSNIT and giving them the go-ahead to go ahead and sell these 4 hotels. As well as we speak now, there is nothing stopping SSNIT from finalizing that deal with Rock City Hotel, owned by Food and Agri Minister Brian Champon, to sell of these 4 hotels. Elton.
But did NPRA provide any roadmap as far as the sale is concerned?
Well, some members of Parliament are now demanding some documentation from the minister in terms of what went into this NPRA decision. It was about 2-3 weeks ago that we broke the news on Joy about how NPRA had asked SSNIT to put on hold this transaction and provide some further and better particulars, provide some documentation as to why exactly they are selling these 4 hotels. And so at the time, NPRA did talk about how the law gives them the mandate to be able to do this. The minister is now informing Parliament about this. The details are sketchy, it is scanty. The minister has not provided the reasoning behind the decision by NPRA asking SSNIT to go ahead. But it would appear that NPRA, having been in the receipt of certain documentation from SSNIT, has satisfied themselves that it is in the best interest of the state and SSNIT itself as a pension fund to go ahead and do this sale. The minority MPs have been taken aback. They say they are shocked by this decision because they really believe that this was a victory for the Ghanaian people in their opposition to the sale of these 4 hotels, only for this setback to come up that NPRA has indeed given them the go-ahead to do this. And so in the coming days, some of these MPs telling me that they're going to demand from NPRA through the Minister for Employment and Labor Relations as well as Pensions to furnish the House with what exactly went into the decision by NPRA to clear SSNIT to proceed with the sale of the hotels, despite organized labor, despite they in the minority, and a section of the Ghanaian public really going up in arms against this transaction.
So for clarity, this new directive by the NPA, it is to SSNIT to sell off the hotel, but not necessarily to sell it to a particular entity.
Alton, can you come again, please?
So I'm asking for clarity. So this new directive coming from the NPA, and I'm asking whether it is to allow SSNIT to sell off the hotels, but not necessarily to sell it to a particular entity.
Well, yes, NPRA, according to the information we are gathering from the conversation that have been had in Parliament, SSNIT has been at a very advanced stage to sell these 4 hotels to Rock City Hotels, owned by Food and Agri Minister Brian Champo. And so as far as we are concerned, this instruction coming from NPRA, clearing SSNIT to proceed with the sale of the hotels, is geared at selling these hotels to the transaction, the person that had bid for these hotels, that is Rock City Hotel. Mm-hmm. And so the cost is now clear for Rock City Hotel to finalize the transaction with NPRA and SSNIT in particular, I should say, to sell these 4 hotels. And so the hotel sale is going to proceed in terms of being sold to specifically Rock City hotels because it is they who have made the bid, it has been submitted, and which has been accepted by SSNIT.
I'm wondering whether Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa is in the house. Right, so the latest development on this matter is that the National Pension Regulatory Authority, they've given SSNIT the all clear to go ahead and sell off its stake, some 60% stake in some 4 hotels. Remember, this matter has become very controversial because some people have the view that the manner in which SSNIT went about the sale in the first place was not the best. They raised issues about conflict of interest because the beneficiary of this sale is the Food and Agriculture Minister, Brian Champon, who owns Rock City Hotel. So, of course, asked him whether Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa was in the house at the time the Employment Minister provided this information.
The questions that brought these answers, they also in his name, but he has not been around today. Our understanding is that Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa is currently outside the jurisdiction. He has traveled for certain official responsibilities. In fact, both questions were asked on his behalf by Governor Kwame Agoja, and then there were follow-up questions from MP Juloli Bakwe and other minority MPs, as well as some questions, a few of them coming in from the majority side, particularly the former Health Minister, who wanted to find out whether or not this is the first time SSNIT is going ahead to sell its asset. The minister provided an answer that no. In fact, under the NDC governments and other places, SSNIT has definitely divested its stake in certain investment. And so that is not the first time. But Okudzeto-Ablakwa himself, not here. We've been running some checks to get his reaction to this breaking news that SSNIT is set to go ahead to sell this 60% stake in these 4 hotels, particularly Labadi Beach Hotel and all these other 3 hotels, to Rock City Hotel owned by Brian Champon.
And I'm guessing that the minority side was unhappy with this latest development. Beyond the fact that they expressed this on the floor, is there something that they are willing to do going forward?
Well, yes, the information I'm getting from the whips is that they are probably going to bring even a motion to the floor to ask Parliament to investigate because they feel there are serious conflict of interest questions that have to be answered because Brian Champon is a Minister of State, he sits in cabinet, and that they do not believe that the process leading to the bidding may have been fair. And so they are going to consider all the options that are available to them, come back to the floor and try and see if they can really fight the decision. It's about 5 months to election. They really think that maybe SSNIT should also put that on hold. But they really believe that SSNIT may be willing to go ahead. That is why they are going to put the options that are available to them on the table to get SSNIT to hold this.
Okay, thank you very much. But what is happening on the floor? I know that there's a court case today. Has that affected attendance on the floor?
Well, there's a bill currently being considered, the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority bill. But even on this hotel saga itself, there was a point where the majority leader, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, did come in to make a comment, and he said that when dry bones are mentioned, old men, old women are worried. And Doyo Comfort, really, the deputy minority whip, did take an objection to this and said that even though people like Afenyo-Markin, being very young men, like to crack jokes at old women, those men are not able to last all night in bed. And it really took Parliament in terms of an uproar. People were laughing and were like, we are talking about SSNIT hotels, a very important saga. Why are we now deflecting and talking about how men last in bed and all that? So some of these issues that have come up. But the House is currently considering some bills, and then I'm sure they are going to adjourn for the day because of the nature of business that they are doing today. All
right, Kwakwa Asante is our parliamentary affairs correspondent, and the breaking news this afternoon is that the National Pension Regulatory Authority, they've given SSNIT the all clear to go ahead, and if SSNIT still want to pursue the agenda of selling 60% stake in the 4 hotels, they should go ahead and do it. Let's get some reactions. And of course, Mr. Abraham Kumsem with the Federation of Labour joins me via phone. Mr. Kumsem, I mean, NPRA, according to the Employment Minister, before Parliament just a few minutes ago, says SSNIT, according to NPRA, has all the clearance to go ahead and sell off the hotels if they so wish. What's your reaction to this latest development on this matter?
The sound is not coming. I'm not hearing you, bro.
Yes, Mr. Kumsem, can you hear me now?
Very, very, very faint.
All right, so we'll reconnect with you shortly so that we can have a very sound conversation.
But when you call first,
on this matter. Mr. Abraham Kumsen is with the Federation of Labour, and we'll rectify this anomaly and get him back as we try to get reaction to this latest development on the sale of 4 hotels belonging to SSNIT. SSNIT says that they want to sell off 60% of its stake in the 4 hotels because the hotels in question are not bringing in much, dividends in terms of, return on investments, and it will be improper for them to continually use pensioners' funds to retool the hotels. The reason why they took the decision to sell off 4 of the hotels, and that decision has become a national discussion with the minority taking a position on it. Now, the NPA earlier advised it to stay off the sale of the hotels. Now, the latest development, according to the employment minister, is that the National Pension Regulatory Authority, they've given SSNIT the all clear to go ahead and sell off the 60% stake in the 4 hotels. And Mr. Abraham Kumsen, I'm trying to get your reaction to this latest development.
Actually, I'm not very sure, but the line is not good, but I'm not very sure this story is because organized labor, we are meeting tomorrow on this issue. And we know a decision has not been taken at all. But already we sent a message, very strong message to government that we will not tolerate any sale decision of the hotel. So I don't know where this information is coming from. I doubt whether it is true.
Well, this information, let me just update you. The employment minister a while ago was before Parliament answering questions on SSNIT's decision to sell off their 60% stake in the 4 hotels. And in providing this answer, also updated on the position of NPRA on the sale of the hotel. And according to the employment minister, Ignatius Bafuwa, NPRA, they've given SSNIT the all clear to go ahead and then, undertake the sale of the hotel if they so wish.
So, does it mean that NPRA has withdrawn the earlier letter of rules?
Absolutely.
Oh, no, we are not aware. We are not aware. Tomorrow we are meeting, anyway. Organized labor, we are meeting tomorrow. And I'm not very sure. This is very true. They can't sell it. Because the transaction advisor, if you have a copy of the report, you will see that the report, is against what SSNIT wants to do. They are saying that the Rock City Hotel lacks the financial muscle to go into that agreement. They can't pay. They don't have the money. So why should they force this hotel on Brian Campbell? See, they don't have. Look, if you read the transaction advisor's report, you will see that there's no way these hotels can be given to Brian Campbell. No, the report is very clear. The report, we didn't, engage this transaction advisor to do what he did. But if you read the report, there's nothing that shows that, Brian Campbell has the financial capacity to buy this. So I'm surprised. We are meeting tomorrow. So if it is true, by tomorrow, I'm sure that at the close of work tomorrow, we'll know exactly what is going on. But we won't allow, because the hotels are not for government. And we say we will not allow it.
So therefore, you are disappointed with this U-turn taken by NPRA?
I'm not sure NPRA has taken that decision, but I cannot say I'm disappointed. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. If they want to ruffle the feathers, if they want things to happen in this country, they should go ahead and do what they are doing. No. It will not happen. Please, it will not happen.
This is actually the account of the Employment and Labor Relations Minister. This same minister, you've been meeting over this matter.
We have been meeting on this matter, but the Employment Minister himself is not a member of the SSNIT board. He's not there. So I don't know who gave him that information that he's not a member of the SSNIT board. So where is he getting his information?
Perhaps
I doubt it.
Because he's the minister responsible for employment, and employment has a relationship with pensions. That's the reason why he was in Parliament today to respond to this question filed by Okudzeto Ablakwa, demanding to know the status of the sale. And in his answer to Parliament, he disclosed that NPRA is taking a different position now saying that SSNIT can go ahead, perhaps after reading through the justification by SSNIT.
No, I don't believe it. I'll get in touch with my colleagues, and we will find out what the minister informed the Parliament is accurate. But I doubt it. I'm not very sure. They can't go behind that. They can't go behind workers' leadership and do what they are doing. It will never happen. I can assure you that we will resist it.
Mr. Abraham Kunsi, just holding on for me. I want you to listen to what exactly the employment minister told Parliament just some few minutes ago.
Information relating to the sale of the hotels, which SSNIT has since done that. So it wasn't like a direct decision that SSNIT should not go ahead to do anything. But then SSNIT.
Ask your question, Honourable.
All right, we appear to be having technical issues bringing that visuals to you, but that was the employment minister. So, Mr. Kumsi, you say that naturally you expect that NPRA will write to you.
They are just playing games. Yeah, it is not true. I am telling you, it is not true. NPRA has not given that go ahead for them to do what they are doing. It's not true. If it is true, you see what will happen by next week.
All right, thank you so much for your reaction. We'll wait to hear the outcome of your meeting tomorrow, and then perhaps we can have a better conversation on this matter. But the breaking news this afternoon is that, according to the Employment and Labour Relations Minister, NPRA, that's the National Pension Regulatory Authority, they've given SSNIT the all clear to go ahead and sell off the 60% stake, the 60% they want to offload in some 4 hotels. That has become a matter of national concern and discourse. So this will bring you more in subsequent bulletins.